Hello everyone, Dr. Mandell here. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Today I'm going to share something extremely powerful, especially for seniors struggling with thinning hair, hair loss, or weak, brittle strands. And yes, this is completely natural, safe, inexpensive, and backed by real science. Just 1 spoon of this before bed can help nourish your follicles, improve scalp circulation, balance hormones, and support the regrowth of stronger, healthier hair. When a senior looks into the mirror and sees thinning hair, it isn't just hair disappearing, it's confidence slipping away, it's identity fading. It's a reminder of time passing faster than we ever expected. But what if something as small, as quiet, as overlooked as a single spoon of black sesame seeds could begin to change that story? Most people don't realize that inside this tiny seed is one of nature's most concentrated collections of hair-nourishing nutrients ever discovered. Nutrients so powerful, researchers in China and Japan have spent decades studying how these seeds slow aging, restore pigment, and strengthen hair from the root up. And it all begins with one critical truth. Every strand of hair is a living structure that depends on nutrition more than we were ever told. Without the right nutrients, hair doesn't just stop growing. It becomes thin, fragile, and lifeless, long before it falls out. But with the right nutrients, hair comes back thicker, darker, stronger, even in seniors. Black sesame seeds contain one of the richest natural sources of vitamin B6, a nutrient essential for creating keratin, the very protein that hair is made of. Without enough B6, keratin becomes weak, brittle, and breaks easily. That's why researchers have found that seniors with hair loss often show deficiencies in B vitamins, especially B6. When the body doesn't have enough of it, the scalp struggles, the follicles weaken, and the hair begins to age faster than the person wearing it. But when B6 is replenished, the body begins repairing keratin production almost immediately. Black sesame seeds deliver that building block in every single spoon. But this tiny seed does not stop there. It holds something even more important for seniors: zinc, one of the most proven minerals in the world for hair growth. Zinc is the mineral that tells your follicles, grow, repair, stay alive. Without zinc, your hair follicles literally shrink. This is called miniaturization. And once that shrinking begins, growth slows dramatically. That's why scientists now recognize zinc deficiency as one of the leading nutritional causes of hair thinning in older adults. Black sesame seeds contain zinc in one of the most bioavailable natural forms, meaning your body absorbs it quickly, transports it directly to the scalp, and uses it to rebuild hair strength from the inside out. Then there is iron, the mineral responsible for carrying oxygen to every hair follicle. Most seniors have no idea that low iron is one of the most common hidden causes of thinning hair, especially when shedding becomes consistent. Hair follicles are living tissues that require oxygen to grow. And without enough iron to deliver that oxygen, the follicles suffocate slowly over time. Black sesame seeds supply a plant-based iron source that absorbs steadily into the bloodstream and restores the oxygen flow that hair desperately needs to stay alive. And right beside iron is copper, one of the most shocking nutrients linked to hair loss. Copper deficiency has been found to reduce melanin, the pigment that gives hair its color, and weaken the crosslinks that hold hair together. It's the lack of copper that accelerates gray hair, dull color, and weak growth in aging adults. Black sesame seeds are one of the highest natural sources of copper known to science. This one mineral alone helps restore color, vibrancy, strengthen the hair shaft, and support the enzymes responsible for producing new hair cells. But the story gets even deeper. Black sesame seeds are loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, the same nutrients found in fish oil, but in a gentler, plant-based form that seniors can take without discomfort. Omega-3s reduce inflammation at the root, moisturize the scalp from within, and thicken the outer layer of each hair strand. Studies show that people who consume omega-3s consistently experience reduced shedding and noticeable improvements in hair density within weeks. This is the kind of nutrient that doesn't just make hair grow, it makes hair look healthy, youthful, and full. And yet, maybe the most overlooked treasure inside these seeds is their astonishing level of antioxidants. Every day the scalp fights oxidative stress, tiny invisible molecules that break down hair follicles and accelerate aging. Seniors experience this damage more intensely because natural antioxidant levels decline with age. This oxidative stress is one of the main reasons hair grows slower, looks thinner, and loses its vitality. Black sesame seeds contain sesamil, sesame, and sesamil, powerful antioxidants unique to sesame seeds and found almost nowhere else in nature. These compounds neutralize scalp inflammation, rebuild follicle health, and shield the hair from the oxidative stress that silently destroys growth. Now imagine what happens when all these nutrients, B6, zinc, iron, copper, omega-3s, and antioxidants enter the body at the same time every night. When the body enters its natural repair cycle, hair follicles that were starving suddenly receive a flood of nourishment. Keratin production restarts, circulation improves, pigment begins to reactivate, inflammation decreases, and the scalp finally gets the environment it needs to grow healthy hair again. Researchers have discovered that seniors who increase dietary intake of these exact nutrients experience better hair retention, stronger roots, faster hair growth, and less breakage. This is not hype. This is biology. Hair loss in seniors isn't always about aging. Often, it's about deficiency. Years of nutrient gaps, years of stress, years of inflammation, years of unknowingly starving the follicles of what they need. That's why a food as nutrient-dense as black sesame seeds can become a turning point. Each spoon acts like a nutritional reset for the hair. Every spoon is delivering the raw material your follicles have been waiting for. Every spoon is reversing deficiencies your scalp didn't know how to fix on its own. Every spoon is giving your hair a fighting chance to grow back stronger than before. And the beauty of this remedy is that it works quietly, naturally, and consistently. No chemicals, no prescriptions, no harsh side effects, just nutrition, pure and powerful. Because sometimes the greatest transformations begin with the smallest things. And in the case of thinning senior hair, that transformation might start with something as simple as 1 spoon of black sesame seeds before bed. Every night, while the world goes silent, something extraordinary happens inside the human body, especially in seniors. The heart slows down, the breath deepens, the mind drifts away, and quietly, the body begins the single most powerful repair cycle it performs in a full 24 hours. Most people think sleep is simply rest, but science shows it is far more than that. Sleep is the moment your body rebuilds everything that has been breaking down during the day, including your hair follicles. Hair grows the fastest, heals the deepest, and strengthens the most when the body is asleep. But here's the truth almost nobody talks about. You cannot repair what you have not nourished. The follicles cannot rebuild themselves if the nutrients are not already in the bloodstream when sleep begins. And that is exactly where the nighttime power of black sesame seeds becomes so shocking. When seniors take just 1 spoon before bed, they're not feeding the body randomly. They are feeding it at the exact moment it can use these nutrients with maximum efficiency. This matters because hair follicles are uniquely sensitive to nighttime biochemistry. During sleep, the hormone melatonin rises naturally. Melatonin doesn't just regulate sleep. Researchers have now discovered that melatonin also stimulates hair growth, accelerates follicle recovery, and influences the hair's anagen phase, the growth phase. Pure melatonin's nightly surge with the vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants from black sesame seeds, and suddenly the follicles are flooded with the fuel they need at the precise time they are most ready to grow. That timing alone can make the difference between continued thinning and visible regrowth. But there is another hidden process happening at night, something seniors rarely hear about. It's called microurculation. During sleep, blood vessels in the scalp open wider. The body redistributes blood flow to essential tissues, including skin and hair follicles. This nighttime shift increases nutrient delivery by up to 30%, according to several sleep and dermatology studies. That means the hair follicles become more accessible, more receptive, and more ready to absorb the nutrients traveling through the bloodstream. Taking black sesame seeds in the morning may still offer benefits, but at night, those same nutrients move through the scalp like a silent river, feeding every weakened follicle with oxygen, minerals, and antioxidants right when microurculation peaks. And yet the story gets even more shocking. While you sleep, your stress hormones drop dramatically. High cortisol levels are one of the biggest hidden causes of hair thinning in seniors. Cortisol constricts blood vessels, weakens follicles, and interrupts the hair growth cycle. But at night, cortisol naturally decreases, allowing the follicles to relax, recover, and begin repairing cellular damage. So when a senior takes 1 spoon of black sesame seeds before bed, the nutrients enter a body that is no longer fighting against itself, a body that is calm, a body that is receptive, a body whose cortisol is low enough to finally allow growth. Nighttime is the only window where all these forces align perfectly. A senior's hair loss is not just a daytime problem. It is deeply connected to how well the body heals at night. Every cell in the follicle activates a process called protein synthesis during sleep. This is where keratin, the building block of hair, is rebuilt. This is when damage to the root is reversed. This is when new hair cells are formed. Without the right nutrients in the bloodstream, protein synthesis fails, and no new keratin is created. But with black sesame seeds taken right before bed, the bloodstream becomes rich with B vitamins, minerals, and healthy fats exactly when keratin production begins. The timing creates a kind of nutritional synergy that the body can't reproduce during the daytime. Nighttime is also the only period when the body activates its waste removal system. In scientific terms, this is called cellular detoxification. Damaged cells, old proteins, inflammation, and toxins are removed from tissues, including the scalp. Think of this like cleaning up a construction site before the builders begin their work. If the scalp is inflamed, congested, or full of oxidative waste, hair cannot grow. But black sesame seeds contain powerful antioxidants like sesamil and sesameal that travel through the bloodstream during sleep, neutralizing the oxidative stress that suffocates hair follicles. By morning, the scalp is cleaner, calmer, and more capable of growing new hair. But perhaps the most emotional truth is this. Seniors often believe hair loss is permanent. They believe it is simply a normal part of aging. Yet science shows many cases of senior hair thinning are not due to age at all, but due to years of nutrient deficiencies, inflammation, and disrupted circulation. These are conditions that can be improved. These are conditions that respond to nighttime nutrition. These are conditions that black sesame seeds directly support when taken at the perfect moment before sleep. And when seniors begin nourishing their bodies at night, something beautiful begins to happen. The hair that once shed too easily starts holding on. The strands that felt lifeless begin to thicken. The scalp that once felt weak begins to feel warmer, healthier, more alive. Week after week, the follicles start waking up. The body begins restoring what time tried to erase. Because the truth is, your hair is never too old to grow. Your follicles are never too late to heal. They are waiting for the right environment, an environment only nighttime can provide. Every spoon of black sesame seeds before bed becomes a signal to the body. Repair, rebuild, restore. A signal that every follicle recognizes. A signal that tells the hair, you are not finished. Because inside every senior is a body that still wants to heal, still wants to grow, still wants to regenerate. If we give it the right tools at the right time, the quiet power of nighttime nutrition might be the missing piece. As we grow older, our bodies begin to whisper truths we once ignored. Hair thins, strands weaken, and the scalp slowly loses the strength it once had. Many seniors believe this is simply aging, but science tells a very different story. Much of what we call age-related hair loss isn't age at all. It's hormonal imbalance. Hormones that once flowed smoothly now fluctuate, decline, or surge in unpredictable ways. And when these changes strike, the hair follicle becomes one of the first victims. What shocks researchers is how deeply connected hormones are to every stage of hair growth. And this is where black sesame seeds reveal one of their most extraordinary powers. Hidden inside this tiny seed are compounds called lignins, plant-based molecules that mimic, stabilize, and support the body's natural hormonal system. These lignins don't force the body to change. They help it rebalance itself. They gently nudge hormones back into equilibrium, allowing the follicles to return to a healthy growth cycle. It's a kind of internal harmony that aging bodies desperately need. Imagine a hair follicle like a switch that can only stay on when hormones are steady. When hormones destabilize, whether through aging, stress, or nutrient deficiencies, that switch flickers, growth slows, strands thin, and the follicle becomes fragile. But studies now show that lignins from foods like black sesame seeds help support estrogen balance, reduce excess androgens, and assist the endocrine system in maintaining stability. For seniors, especially those experiencing hair thinning after menopause or andropause, this is crucial. When the hormonal environment calms, the follicles regain the power to grow again. And there's another hidden truth. Hormonal imbalance increases inflammation in the scalp. Inflammation is silent, invisible, and devastating. It chokes the follicles. It damages the root. It disrupts the hair cycle. High levels of inflammation are one of the top 3 causes of hair loss in seniors worldwide. But black sesame seeds contain not 1, not 2, but multiple anti-inflammatory compounds that directly counter this damage from within. Lignans, sesame, and sesamol travel through the bloodstream and reach the scalp, where they quiet the inflammation that hormones once triggered. When that inflammation calms, the follicle begins to heal. Hormonal imbalance also affects blood flow. It can tighten blood vessels, restrict circulation, and starve the follicle of nutrients. That's why so many seniors notice their hair grow shorter, weaker, or slower. But black sesame seeds carry natural fats, healthy omega-3s and omega-6s that improve vascular health. These fats help relax blood vessels, allowing oxygen and nutrients to reach the root once again. And when oxygen returns, hair growth accelerates. Science has shown that follicles, deprived of oxygen, can shrink by nearly 50%, leading to visibly thinner hair. But when circulation improves, follicles begin expanding back to their normal size, producing thicker strands with each new cycle. But here's the twist. Hormones don't just influence growth, they influence pigment. Melanin, the pigment responsible for hair color, declines when hormones destabilize. That's why graying accelerates so dramatically in later years. Copper deficiency, stress, inflammation, and hormonal shifts all attack melanin at the same time. But black sesame seeds are one of the richest natural sources of copper, the mineral required for converting the amino acid tyrosine into melanin. It is copper that supports the enzymes responsible for hair pigmentation. Seniors who restore copper levels often notice slow, gradual darkening of their natural hair color, a sign that melanin production is being reawakened. The synergy between lignans and copper becomes powerful here. One supports hormonal balance, the other supports pigment. Together, they help the hair regain both health and color. But the emotional truth behind all of this is that hormonal imbalance makes seniors feel like they're losing control, not just of their hair, but of their identity. Hair holds memory. Hair holds confidence. Hair holds youth. When it disappears, something inside feels like it is disappearing too. Yet the science is clear. The body is not shutting down. It is asking for support. It is asking for balance. It is asking for nutrients that can help restore the harmony time has disrupted. Black sesame seeds provide that support in one of the simplest ways possible, through a single spoon a day. Inside the digestive system, lignans begin converting into beneficial compounds by the gut microbiome. These compounds move through the bloodstream, reach the endocrine organs, and begin reinstating order. This is why countries that traditionally use black sesame seeds for generations, China, Korea, Japan, had significantly lower rates of age-related hair thinning. They unknowingly fed their hormones the very molecules that kept their hair strong. Modern science is simply catching up to what ancient nutrition already understood. The power of lignans goes even deeper. They help regulate enzymes responsible for metabolizing hormones. They help support the adrenal glands, which control stress hormones. They help stabilize estrogen receptors, which influence hair growth in both men and women. They help reduce the hormonal fluctuations that weaken the follicle root. They also act as antioxidants, protecting hormonal cells from oxidative stress. Hormonal balance is not a single process. It is an ecosystem. And black sesame seeds support multiple layers of that ecosystem at once. Even the timing matters. Taking these seeds before bed gives the endocrine system the support it needs during its nightly hormonal recalibration.